Hello, everyone. Welcome to our podcast, Yeti.
Walks into Basecamp. You did it right this time.
I did do it right this time. I am one of your hosts, Yeti Legs.
And I'm Basecamp, and today we are sharing a mic, and it's 8:30 or 9 o'clock now in the morning, and we still have coffee breath, so this should get interesting.
Yeah, she keeps making a face every time I encroach on her microphone space. Yeah, we should really invest in like a third and fourth mic one day whenever we're big and famous.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, for sure. This is a special episode today. It's going to be another one of our Fireside chat episodes. We have a special guest here with us. Her name is Rene Aldrich, aka Azul.
Hello.
Welcome. We're really excited to have you, especially in person. It's very, very special.
Aw, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. And yeah, thanks for hosting me.
Yeah, of course. You're glad to be here until we start hitting you with a barrage of questions.
Uh-oh.
So we first met Rene on the Pacific Crest Trail, and proud to say that we gave her trail name Azul because she has these like glacier blue eyes, and I don't know, her energy is blue for some reason. She also wore a lot of blue whenever we first met her. She has also hiked the Tahoe Rim Trail, the Arizona Trail, and is currently on the Continental Divide Trail. She just made it to Breckenridge here in Colorado. So we are grateful to be able to spend a little bit of time with her and steal a half hour of her time for this podcast. We have some really important subject matters that we think Rene can share a lot of valuable insight on. This is going to be a great, condensed, but impactful episode, we think.
When Wesley did the Colorado Trail, I was home alone and did try to support him as best as I could as a trail angel. It was really hard for us. Now, granted, way different situation because I had already done a trail with him and I wanted to be out there with him. But Azul here is married.
Yes.
And has an incredible husband that we've all had the privilege to meet on the PCT, and his name is Dan.
Yep.
And the question that we have for you, Azul, is being married. I feel like a lot of hikers, they are married and they don't do the trail with their partner or significant other. So we just want to know, what is that experience like being on trail by yourself, but you are married and you're out there for like 5 or 6 months without them?
We have been together 20 years, married 6 years. So, we know each other really well. I had never really thought about doing a long distance hike, so it was never anything we really discussed. He is outdoorsy and likes to backpack and bike pack and things. So he's gone out on his own adventures with his bike packing and things. And so when the PCT came around, he was working and we have dogs. And so I was like, I really feel like I need to do this. I need to try to get out and do something big and major. And he understood it, and he knew, at that point in time, I hadn't really planned for the PCT. So I was like, I might be gone 2 weeks or a month. I have no idea how long I'm going to be gone for. So let's just try this and see how it works. So I think maybe that helped too, not being like, yeah, I'm gone for 6 months.
So what you're saying to people who are thinking about doing a through hike and have a significant other, they should break it to them in a very small portion, bite-sized way. Like, hey, yeah, I might be gone 2 weeks, 3 weeks. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Potentially, if you're going to be gone, I wouldn't suggest lying to your partner. But yeah, that's how it worked for us. And luckily for us, we live close to the PCT. So Dan drove me to the terminus. We kind of did break in because then he met me at Lake Morena. We spent a couple days in Lake Morena and then he took off. So that kind of broke us into the trail a little bit, which was nice. And then once, because we're in Nevada, I got to Kennedy Meadow South, basically, and more so Truckee area, he basically visited me in every major town between Truckee and Ashland. And so that was great.
Wow, you really got your fill of Dan
Yeah.
on the PCT.
Yeah, it was awesome. But I would say outside of that, before he came to visit me, one of the things that really helped us is that, you go out into the wilderness and you want to be wild and turn off your phone, but I would check for service and text him. And I have a Garmin, so we talk every day. I let him know when I'm at camp and he lets me know what's going on in his days. Our communication is pretty high on trail, I would say.
Whenever Dan would meet you, I can't remember, was he driving y'all's truck? Was he driving a van? Did y'all get hotels? And how did you maintain a level of intimacy?
So yeah, we did a mix. We have a truck and a Prius. And so we would camp some, hotel some, Yeah, I feel like mostly hotels, but we did camp a little bit. And yeah, I mean, I think with our level of intimacy, it was just like through our conversations every day. I don't know. I feel like that just helped keep us connected. And then, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I feel like there's probably the occasional ass grab every time you saw
Oh,
Dan.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely.
I was going to ask, does it increase your level of sexual intimacy when you're apart like that and you're seeing him come and support? You don't have to answer this and we can take it out, but I'm curious what that does to you, in that way.
Yeah, no, definitely. And especially on the PCT, when I started, I was kind of in a not a great mental and health place. On trail, I started feeling really good. And like it definitely increased my sex drive and just, I don't know, feeling good, So, especially by the time Kennedy Meadow South came about, it's just, yeah.
You're like, it's on like Donkey Kong.
Come on, baby. Come over here.
Yeah.
I get that as a female. Like, I feel like if we are not in a great, healthier mental place, our like sex drive really does change. And I
Yeah.
guess because of cortisol and all these different hormones that we have in our body. And if we're not like actively feeling good, it's hard. Like, yeah, I agree. There's definitely that level of needing to feel good and
Yeah.
healthy and mentally healthy. Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, and it's definitely different for you and Dan than it is for Basecamp and I, because we hiked the whole thing together, the PCT, and we've more or less done all of our backpacking together, except for when I did the Colorado Trail. How did, and I say this because whenever we had like disagreements or arguments or whatever you want to call them on trail, we could like look at each other and talk about it and sort it out. But how did you navigate those more difficult conversations with Dan, especially when you were not with him?
I don't remember us ever fighting or having any issues while I was gone. I think, again, it's just part of the talking every day. So we knew where we were at, He knew what was going on with me. I know visiting helped a lot. And I think also Kennedy Meadow South, when he met you all, I think he was a little worried I'd meet somebody on trail, And I think meeting all of you guys just was like, oh, Rene has great friends out here. And it just made him feel way better about everything, I think.
That's actually, you just bring up a great topic that I think a lot of people are scared about with their partner.
Mm-hmm.
Is their partner is going to go on this trail and meet all these people they don't know, and they may bond. Like, I think I had those insecurities with you on Colorado Trail. I'm like, what if you meet someone that is a faster hiker than I am, or you have like a bond? I'm just saying these things do come up in your head when you're at home and you have nothing else to do with your life.
I just love that it's if I meet a faster hiker. Like, why is that even a thing?
Because that's my insecurity. That's my insecurity. That's a very real thought, I think, for people that are at home.
Well, and you do make these really tight bonds with people right away. And it is, trail is interesting how quickly you form these friendships and how quickly you bond with people. And so for me, I don't think it's something like I would turn into romantic, but I could see potentially how people could be concerned about that a little bit, especially when they don't know the dynamics that are happening.
For sure. And to be honest, I honestly did not see people enough on the Colorado Trail to form a connection like that. One, because there weren't that many people hiking it, and two, because I guess I was going faster than some people and I just never saw them again. I guess that eliminates that whole dynamic in general, but you didn't know that when you weren't hiking the trail with me.
Yeah, and it feels that way for me. At least I haven't done that many. I'm going to call them shorter trails, but like the Arizona Trail, the bonds were different just because we like finally bonded at mile 700, right at Kennedy Meadow South. We had leapfrog, but that's where I made so it took about 700 miles to really form some of these bonds. And even though they happened quickly, it still, took a bit of time. I think it takes that long to like kind of hook up with the people who are in your speed and in your space. But I know on the Arizona Trail, I met people leapfrog with them, but I never
like solidified that bond.
If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and we were saying that like it's like no time has passed seeing you. It's been 2 years, but it feels like we hiked the trail yesterday together.
Absolutely. So good seeing you guys.
Yeah, we're super excited because after we get done recording, we're going to a bakery that has cookie dough croissants.
Yeah, and they're supposed to be delicious.
What even is that?
So yes, if you're in Breckenridge area, apparently we didn't even know this, but there's a bakery here that has cookie dough croissants. There you go. You're
Yep.
welcome.
Yep.
Before we change gears and touch on a different topic, two quick things. We didn't really do a drink of the choice because we're all still half groggy and drinking coffee right now. So there's your drink of the choice segment. But Azul, do you have like one parting piece of advice for a couple, married or otherwise, where only one person is hiking a long trail?
You know, I wish I had a little more time to think about that question, but
I know we put you on the spot with all these.
off the top of my head, I would say it is that communication, trying to stay in touch with them as much as possible, having a Garmin so you can contact them when you don't have cell service, and just, you know, having your everyday conversations apart. And it is nice. You know, I talked a little bit more about the PCT where he was able to come out. Here is much more isolated. He hasn't been out. I'm going home for a wedding for a week, so and then he's going to drive me back, and that's kind of almost right in the middle. So that'll be a nice breakup of the trail and the not seeing him. But definitely with this trail, the talking every day and communicating every day is a good thing.
Have you had a lot of cell service, or is mostly the communication through Garmin messaging?
It's been lots of cell. I would say probably 2/3 cell, 1/3 not, maybe a little less than that. Around that, a good amount of cell, but definitely some in reach.
All right, the next question, shifting gears a little bit. So I'm not sure if you had any other like physical injuries or anything like that on the PCT, the AZT, or the Tahoe Rim Trail, but before starting the Continental Divide Trail, you actually had a bit of a run-in with one of your farm animals. And it's caused some knee issues.
Yeah.
So real quick, before I get into the second half of this question, did you experience any other issues on any other trail before the CDT?
No, I feel like my body was pretty good. I try to start my trails with low miles and build up so my body feels good. Of course, you know, general aches and pains and feet issues, but no real what I would call injuries.
Got you. Now, fast forward to just before the Continental Divide Trail this year in 2024. What happened to you, and how has that like affected your startup process?
2023, strange year, lots of things happening, and in the midst of it, I get kicked by a calf in October, and I thought I broke my tib fib at first because I felt my leg just go in the complete wrong direction, but it was a severe hyperextension of my knee and kind of in and backwards, and you know, couldn't put any weight on it for a couple of weeks. Took a month and a half to 2 months to be able to walk normally on it. Yeah, I kind of figured trails were out, but I started slowly walking on it. And then when 2023 came to an end, and then my nephew and my mom passed away, I was like, you know what? I need to go for a walk. I need to get out and I need to go for a walk. And again, like on the PCT for different reasons, I was like, I might last 2 weeks, 2 months or whatever it is. Starting this more so because of my knee, I was like, I don't know, carrying weight on my back every day, I might not be able to do this, but I'm just going to go and try. In New Mexico, my knee felt great. It was wonderful. I was happy. I felt a little pain here and there, but actually no real difference than my other knee, which is healthy. So just, you know, here and there, aches and pains. Made me a little worried when I felt certain pains, but then it would just go away. It almost felt like it was making my knee stronger. After I've had one of those pains, then it would feel even better. But then going into Colorado and going into the snow and post-holing, there was quite a bit of pain with that. And I went in 15 miles to Dipping Lake, I think it's called, and post-holed a bunch into there that night. It wasn't horrible, but I could feel it tightening up. And I was just like, you know what, there's going to be miles and miles and miles of this. I don't want to become a liability for the people I'm with. I don't want to injure it more. I want to be able to complete the trail. So, you know, making the tough decision to take one of the lower routes, which, you know, I really wanted to do the High Line, but for my knee's sake, I just was like, you know what, I'm going to go back down. Coming out of Dipping Lake, it was quite sore. And so I was like, I'm glad I made the right decision. Because there was some steep descents in the snow after that, and glad I wasn't trying to push through that with that injury.
Okay. And real quick, would you mind just sharing your age?
47.
47. So whenever you started doing your long trails, did you start out with like this hero syndrome, like you can just go out and do anything like maybe a 20-year-old would? Or was there a little bit of reservation and you're like, I'm going to treat this trail with respect and exercise caution when necessary?
Yeah, I'm definitely more of I'm going to treat this trail with respect and like, you know, yeah, take my time, build up those miles to make sure, like I said, starting off with lower miles to make sure I'm not pushing so hard that I get all these other injuries and things. And then start pushing once my body's a little more in into it.
I was going to say, just so people can paint a picture in their mind because they can't see you, but Azul does not look 47. She looks like she's in her 30s. She looks very healthy. She has like this glow about her.
Oh, thanks.
And also Azul was crushing miles on the PCT. Like we were trying to catch up with her around NorCal, I think, is when we started upping our mile intake from 25 to 30 average every day.
Yeah.
And we find out Azul is doing the exact same damn thing. We could never catch her until Washington just because she chose to stay back and wait for us. So just to give you a good perspective, this woman, she was not just like doing 15 every day and going, well, let's see how my body feels. She started crushing miles at the end. And you're crushing miles on this trail too.
I did my first 30 the other day.
See?
That's amazing. To paint the picture of what she looks like right now, she's sitting in like this red kind of mid layer and a leather armchair with like the sun-kissed glow. She looks a bit like royalty, kind of. And I love that she snorts whenever she laughs. So with this knee issue, there has to be some level of like acknowledgement that it might kick you off the Continental Divide Trail, because it's a lot of climbing.
Yeah.
Colorado is definitely the biggest climbing state. How have you wrestled with that internally, and like what was your coping process?
Yeah, when I started the trail, I just knew I would probably have to make some concessions. Like maybe highway walks are out because of the pounding on the pavement, but they never actually bothered it. Like all the road walking in New Mexico was fine. So just kind of having it in the back of my head. I know when I started, I was like, I would just love to get through New Mexico. Hopefully I can do that. And so that was kind of the first big goal. And that was good. And then luckily the snow is starting to melt off, because that's what I was nervous of, was when all the low routes ran out, I'm going to be dumped into the snow and how can it hold up? So, and still going forward, if there is a bunch of post holing, I may have to do a little yellow blaze, which I don't, I like to keep my footpath connected. I'm going on the alternates, but I'm trying to keep my footpath connected. And I would say the hardest thing is I was really, because I loved our time in the Sierra, I was looking forward to the snow and challenging myself into the snow. And so making that decision to come out of there was probably one of the rougher ones, but also being like, I want to do this trail. I want to keep walking. That made the decision a little easier, I guess.
It's easy for me to sit in a room and be like, oh, I'm going to redline every trail I hike. And if you don't redline it too, then you can't say that you hiked that complete trail. So with this knee injury, and especially with the Continental Divide Trail having so many alternates, how has your perspective of quote unquote completing a trail changed since you first started hiking?
When I first started hiking, honestly, the Pacific Crest Trail, like I said, I didn't do a lot of research on it or no. So I had no idea of these terms, yellow blazing, blue blazing, alternates. And one of the cool things was I met all these people on the PCT doing the trail different ways. And I was like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. The trail can be anything you want. So I kind of started with that feeling of like, I love how people make the trail their own. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Doing the pure red line is one of those beautiful ways to do it. Unfortunately, I feel like some people put a lot of pressure on having to do it that way. And on the PCT, I try to do that as much as possible, with a few exceptions of like the Crater Lake alternate and the Eagle Creek alternate.
Which is what we did too, though.
Yeah.
But also, whenever you're in the snow, you can't always maintain the exact red line.
No.
Like, you
kind of
cut
impossible.
switchbacks sometimes.
You kind of get off trail when you're in the snow.
Yeah.
It's like, wait,
Yeah.
where is the trail again? I'm going over a river right now. What's happening?
Yeah, absolutely.
I remember when we were climbing up Baden Powell on the PCT.
Oh, yeah, we just went straight up.
It just went straight the up, and you could see like the red line is way to the left switchbacking.
I remember it was funny because we ran into permafrost, and I think he was trying to stay on the line, and we're just going up, and we're like, where did you come from?
Yeah, because permafrost and Gup were trying to actually do the actual trail, and no one had carved it out at all in the snow. And like they're doing these switchbacks, and we're just like, we're just gonna go up. Because it's safer technically if you're following a path and you know that you're at least getting to the trail or it's close.
Yeah.
It's safer to actually go in the boot pack than to just create your own path again. But yeah.
Oh, and I was just going to say that, and that was my PCT kind of view. And on this trail, knowing I was going to have to make concessions for my knee, I was much more flexible, trying to maintain the boot path still.
And you've already had a fire that rerouted you.
Yeah.
So like, what do you do when that happens? Oh wait, was the fire on the CDT?
So there's been 2 fires, one down south in New Mexico. I was just ahead of it, so we got by that one. And then the one here at Twin Lakes, that one was rerouted, so I was able to walk around it and keep my path.
You had to take the Colorado east side, though.
I took it.
So the Colorado Trail side
Mhm.
versus the Collegiate Peak side west. So did you take the east side?
Yes. Yep. But then came back to go over Hope Pass, which you normally don't do.
Right,
on the east,
right.
But because of the fire, which I'm so glad I loved Hope Pass.
I know, because it's like, so for those who don't know, like there's 2 different trails you can choose to take, where the Colorado Trail and the Continental Divide Trail, they merge and then they decide to do this split where you can do either one and then they'll rejoin. So you can do the Collegiate West or the Collegiate East. And the Colorado Trail is known as being the east side. The Continental Divide Trail is known as being the west side, but both technically work on the trail. So it depends on which one you want to do. But there is this road. It's a Forest Service road, and a lot of 14ers are on that road, and we know that road well. It's called the Clear Creek Reservoir Road.
Yep.
So what Azul did is she took the east side, and then she got down it, and then she took that road left, and then she took the CDT side, the west side, and climbed Hope Pass, which I think is a great idea for anyone who can't do that side.
Yeah.
Or if it's closed, that's a great idea.
Yeah. Yeah. Because Hope Pass is beautiful.
And you saw lots of marmots.
I saw lots of marmots
who were just like looking for cookies.
Yeah, they were running at me. Give me food. Sorry, buds.
That's amazing. And they're so cute and fuzzy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Please.
Picas up there too were really cute.
Oh my gosh, their little sounds. Beep,
Mhm.
beep. So to wrap up this topic, any advice you would give to someone who is starting a trail with an injury or who suffers an injury while hiking?
Try not to go in holding on too tightly to what your trail should be. And I mean, I kind of think that goes on good for anybody. Like the trail will give you lots of beautiful things. And if you hold on too tightly to one idea of what it's supposed to be, you may miss out on a lot of awesome, beautiful experiences. And going on the lower route was incredibly beautiful. I'm sad I missed out on the high route, but it was still gorgeous and beautiful, and I had a great time on it. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, especially with an injury and knowing you might have to make some concessions, just kind of take what the trail gives you.
For sure. And I love that so many of our hiker friends kind of refer to the trail as a metaphor instead of like a physical thing, because it is. It's more than just the dirt path.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm going to ask this last question as we wrap up and we ask this to a lot of people that have through hiked. For those that listen to this podcast who have never through hiked, but they want to, and maybe they're trying to save up for one or they're trying to figure out when to do it, do you have any advice to give them?
You know, and again, this is kind of my perspective and how I did it, is just don't think too much about it. If you want to do it, go ahead and try. It was funny, on the PCT, I met several people who are like, oh man, I'm too out of shape. And I was like, man, I started in the worst shape of my life. I started slow. I just went, but you don't necessarily, when I was planning the PCT, I was like, oh man, I should do research. But one of the first things I read is best way to prepare is not to.
For sure.
And I'm like, I can do that. I got that. And then starting with the lower and not pushing my miles at all right away. I was like, if I have to start with 4 miles a day and that's all my body wants to do, that's what I'm going to do. Started with 10.
There you go. There you go. Now, we won't do a rapid fire question session, but I do have 2 burning questions to ask you.
Okay.
Unless you want to do any rapid fires. My 2 burning questions are, what's your best poop memory on trail?
Man, I have to think about that one. That's hard.
It could be like quality of the dig spot, the view.
Well, what's the first one that comes to mind?
Well, the first ones that come to mind aren't good ones.
Okay.
They're the ones where
That's
you're
okay.
like, you get up at 5 a.m. and you think you're out in the middle of nowhere and you look to your left and there's a tent not too far away and you're like, crap.
Yeah.
No, I just like the fact that my poops come at like 4:30 and 5 a.m. and that I don't need a ton of cover to have.
That's
that.
clockwork.
Yeah.
So you're pretty regular in the morning?
Very. Occasionally it will switch, but yeah. Morning when it's still twilight is nice because I can see, but yet I don't have to be totally hidden off trail. I try to get as far away as I can, of course, but yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay. My other question is this. What is your favorite piece of gear that you have with you on the CDT?
Oh, let's see.
I know, I'm just totally putting you on the spot.
I know. I wish I had a little time to think about it. Well, I love my John. I have that John G hat that it crumples up and the
bill.
bill. Yes, thank you. The bill flips up and lightweight. I love it. I also my I'll do a little plug because I love it so much. My Bend Alpha hoodie from Magnet is beautiful and cozy, and thank you. I love it so much.
For all of those people who don't know Magnet, can you explain the company?
Yeah, he so we met him on the PCT, kind of with you guys, going into the High Sierra with him, and he started a clothing company recently, and I'm a ambassador for him. And I've gotten a lot of questions about my sun hoodie, which I love. So I was like, I've been wearing my Alpha hood. I had a Senshi, and I was wearing that for a while. But with the cold mornings, I was wearing it a lot, and so I told him if he wanted to send me an Alpha, I would wear it. So hopefully, people would ask me about it too. And he made this beautiful black and pink one for me. Blink.
Blink is good.
That's what he should name it. Blink.
And yeah, it's super cozy. I love it.
Explain Alpha hoodie though. It's like, because a lot of people don't know, these are like a new thing that are happening, and they're very lightweight but very warm.
Yeah, they have the loft, so they're like kind of see-through. They're not and I'm not a material person, so I'm probably not explaining it well, but it's not a very thick, tight fleece, so they're kind of see-through, but they provide loft to hold in the warmth, and so they're very breathable. So if it's windy, they don't. But if you layer them with like a rain jacket or with a wool base layer or something, then they provide a lot of warmth, and they're so light and so comfortable.
Definitely, and they dry quicker and insulate better when wet than down would.
Okay, yeah.
So to give you like a quick visual, so Magnet Designs products are kind of similar to other companies you may have heard, like Farpoint or Leve. They all kind of had that same like crosshatch look with like the fuzziness like sticking up off of the actual piece. So yeah, if you ever heard of any of those brands, there you go.
And also, if you check out the picture that we're going to post with Azul in it, you will see the sun shirt that he made for her. So you can check that out too.
And I think that concludes our episode. Should we do our little quick wrap up?
Yes, that might be the fastest episode we've ever had with a guest. That's nuts. You're welcome. No, I'm kidding.
What can I say except you're welcome?
It's only because we really want those cookie dough croissants that we're about to leave here and go get. Yeah. Anyway, but yes, thanks everyone for listening. We really appreciate it. We'd love your feedback, your thoughts, anything you want to hear on the podcast. So if you could email us at yetiwalksintobasecamp@gmail.com or follow our socials. Specifically, go and follow Yeti Walks Into Basecamp on our Instagram. We are really trying to push everyone there so that we can post all of our information and good stuff there. But if you also want to follow the Ginger _and_ the Joy, that is our personal Instagram, where we also post all of our fun, whatever adventure that we are on in that moment types of stuff.
Correct. And we will also have the social media link for Rene, aka Azul's Instagram profile. And we'll have a quick plug-in for Magnet Designs website as well, in case you want to go check out their clothing. And of course, I have to drop a little plug-in for us. We don't do a whole lot of subscriber episodes, but if you would like to subscribe to us on, I know that's not selling us very well, but if you would like to support us in any way, you can subscribe to us either on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts or even Patreon. We actually have one of our Patreon subscribers who's been giving us some great questions and stuff that she would like to know more about. One of those topics most recently is hiker boxes. That's kind of like an under-discussed topic in the hiking community, and I think that can turn into a really cool episode, I think.
Yeah, so Patreon, really, we want to be able, if you want to go there, we want to be able to interact with people there. We put our photos, our videos on there, and we also are putting photos and videos of our friends on there too, so that you can see what they're doing, or when they're telling these stories, like anything that they have pictures of, or you can now see what these people look like and see what the stories look like and the vistas look like. So if you want to join our Patreon, I think it's a really great way to stay connected. We really want to put more information on there that'll help you with your thru hike or your next thru hike. And I think that concludes our episode.
We need to thank our intro and outro artist,
The Fire Once Lost. I got it right that time.
I think every time she said their name, she just says Fire Once Lost and not the, but the is like an important part of the name.
I said it right that time.
You did.
Yeah.
You did.
Anyway, well, Azul, if you want to join us in our tagline at the end, we hope everyone enjoyed the podcast today. And as we like to say in the hiking community,
Happy trails.
Crap, we should have said thanks, Azul, for joining us on the podcast today. Wait, can we go back and do that really fast? Okay. Thanks, Azul, for joining us on the podcast today. It was wonderful to get to have you.
Oh, it was wonderful being here. Thank you so much.
You're such a bright, shiny light. And our dog Loba loves you so
Aw,
much.
I love Lois. Thank you.
I love that you call her princess.
Yes, she is a princess.
Yes. And so, as you're about to get back on trail, and as we like to say in the hiking community,
Happy trails. Thank you so much.